The air in La Paz is thin. It bites at your lungs at 12,000 feet. But the chill I felt had nothing to do with the altitude. It was the sight of the bus. Its tires were worn smooth. Its windows were a spiderweb of cracks. A faint smell of diesel and something else, maybe fear, hung in the air. This was my ride, my ticket to the infamous Yungas Road, El Camino de la Muerte. My gut tightened. Every instinct screamed at me to turn back. I gripped my pack. I took a deep breath of the thin mountain air, and I stepped aboard. The inside of the bus was a world of its own. The seats were patched with duct tape. The floor was gritty with dust from 1,000 journeys. The air was thick with the scent of coca leaves being chewed. A small shrine to a saint was bolted to the dashboard, faded plastic flowers clinging to it. I found a seat by a window that refused to close completely, letting in a whistling draft. An old woman with a face like a weathered map smiled at me, her teeth stained red from coca. A young boy stared out the window. For them, this was just another Tuesday. For me, it felt like stepping into the lion's den. As the engine roared to life, a shudder ran through the entire frame. It wasn't a gentle hum. It was a guttural, protesting groan. The driver made the sign of the cross. That single gesture did more to set my nerves on edge than anything else. The bus lurched forward, pulling away from the relative safety of the city. The familiar world began to slip away, replaced by the unknown. My heart hammered against my ribs. We climbed higher, leaving the last vestiges of paved road behind. The transition was jarring. One moment we were on asphalt, the next, the world dissolved into a narrow ribbon of gravel and dirt. This was the true beginning of the Yungas Road. The path was barely wide enough for the bus, a single lane scraped into the side of a sheer cliff face. To my left, the mountain wall rose up, damp and green with moss, weeping small rivulets of water onto the path. To my right, there was nothing. Just a dizzying, terrifying drop into the Amazon basin below. The abyss was a swirling cauldron of mist, hiding the bottom thousands of feet down. It was like driving on the edge of the world. The driver navigated this treacherous ledge with a calm focus that was both reassuring and unnerving. His hands were steady on the massive steering wheel, making constant, minute adjustments. He knew every curve, every pothole, every place where the soft shoulder threatened to give way. The rule of the road here is brutally simple. You drive on the left, the cliffside edge. This gives the driver a better view of the wheel's position, ensuring it doesn't slip over the precipice. It also means that my side of the bus was hanging over the void. I tried not to look down, but the chasm was a magnet, pulling at my gaze, filling my mind with images of a long, final fall. The road itself is a relentless adversary. It's not a passive strip of land. It's an active, dangerous entity. The Yungas Road wasn't built for tourists seeking a thrill. Its origins are soaked in tragedy and hardship. Carved in the 1930s by Paraguayan prisoners of war, thousands toiled with little more than picks and shovels, chipping away at a near-vertical mountainside, battling landslides, battling disease, facing the constant threat of falling. Many never left, their bodies part of the road's foundation. You can feel that history here. The cold wind whips through the valleys. The towering cliffs stand in solemn silence. For decades, this was the only route between La Paz and the Yungas, an essential artery for commerce. Trucks laden with fruit, trucks laden with wood, buses packed with families, all braving the perilous journey. Called El Camino de la Muerte for good reason. Between 200 and 300 people died here each year. Crosses and weathered memorials dot the roadside, grim markers where vehicles plunged into the abyss, each one a silent, heartbreaking story. Today, a new, safer highway bypasses most of the old route. The modern road carries the bulk of traffic. The original death road became a mecca for thrill seekers, mountain bikers, adventurous travelers like myself, but the ghosts remain. The grim statistics of the Yungas Road are not just numbers on a page. They represent real people, real families torn apart by tragedy. One of the most infamous accidents occurred in 1983 when a bus carrying over 100 passengers plunged over the edge. It was overcrowded, a common practice at the time. As it rounded a tight corner, it met another vehicle. In the chaos on the narrow ledge, the driver lost control. The bus tipped and fell. No one survived. It remains one of Bolivia's worst ever road accidents. Thinking about it as our own bus creaked and groaned sent a shiver down my spine. The dangers are not just from falling. Landslides are a constant and unpredictable threat. The mountains here are geologically unstable. Heavy rains can loosen tons of rock and mud. Drivers have to read the weather, the sky, the mountain itself. A sudden downpour can turn the road into a river of sludge in minutes. We passed sections recently cleared of debris. You could see fresh scars on the mountainside, a raw, gaping wound where the earth had given way. The Yungas Road is a place of profound contradictions. For every heart-stopping moment of terror, there is a moment of breathtaking, almost spiritual beauty. As we descended, the landscape underwent a dramatic transformation. We started in the stark, barren highlands of the Altiplano, a world of rock and ice. But as we dropped lower, life exploded around us. The air grew warmer and humid, filled with the rich, loamy scent of the rainforest. Lush green vegetation clung to every surface. Ferns, mosses, bromeliads, the sheer scale of the scenery was overwhelming. Through the rattling window, I saw sights from a lost world. Waterfalls thundered from impossible heights. Spray created miniature rainbows in sunlight. Brightly colored birds flashed like emerald and sapphire between trees. Clouds that had been below us now swirled around the bus. Thick white fog engulfed us, visibility reduced to feet. It felt like floating through the sky, disconnected, with only the straining engine reminding us of our precarious reality. The ride's physical sensations were intense and unrelenting. Every bump and jolt hit my bones. The bus swayed like a ship in a storm. The noise was a symphony of chaos. Roar of the engine, screech of metal against rock, rattle of the windows, rush of wind and water. After what felt like an eternity, the road began to widen. The descent became less severe. Patches of pavement started to appear like oases in a desert of dirt. The bus finally rolled into the small town of Coroico, its engine sputtering as if sighing with relief. We had made it. Stepping off the bus onto solid, stable ground was a surreal experience. My legs were shaky, my body still humming with the vibrations of the journey. The air here was warm and tropical, thick with the sweet smell of flowers and ripe fruit. We had descended nearly 8,000 feet from where we started. Harsh highlands, lush jungle. A wave of profound relief washed over me. It was almost overwhelming. It wasn't just relief, it was a deep sense of accomplishment. I had faced the death road and survived. I looked back at the bus, the dusty, dented machine that had been my chariot through hell and paradise. I looked at the driver. He was calmly unloading luggage. He caught my eye and gave me that same small, stoic nod. In that gesture, I felt a connection, a shared understanding. The journey had begun, and with it, a test of nerve unlike any I had ever faced. Would you dare to ride?